And thank you, Michael.
Always a pleasure, Elaine. Always a pleasure.
Congratulations, Elaine. This is a really big achievement. It's just my pleasure to hear you this morning. And
thank you.
from knowing your previous work and your musical journey to hearing what you're doing today and actually seeing a visible difference in some of your work has been really exciting for me. So I'm so glad that I got to be the one to hear you today.
Oh, thank you.
I think, Elaine, one of the biggest things that has struck me about your performance and your efforts today was that this looks so much more at ease than it used to. I think we spoke about that. We used to be able to see the veins and the tendons reaching and moving. And now it's just so much more relaxed. I said, oh my goodness. That's really, really, really hard to undo those well-worn paths of muscle memory. And it's not just undoing, it's also replacing with good habits. And I think you're doing a remarkable job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I noticed my shoulders are staying down a bit more.
Yes,
yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
And so I think all these little cheats that your body used to find before, stripping it away, is allowing you to get to know your support system a lot better. So I feel like that's really working well, and you're starting to put some really good habits into place there. And you're absolutely right in your vocabulary when you said starting. Like, it's all a journey. It's not just a linear thing. We're all a work in progress. So this work is absolutely starting for you and continuing. And I love that you're open to more, you're open to learning. I hope that you would consider another recital assessment next year, which is hard to imagine when you've only just completed this one. My wish for you is to keep going. I think your choice in repertoire is really reflective of who you are as an artist. And I think it's also reflective of what brings meaning to you. And so I'm sure you know lots and lots of pieces, but you're just choosing the ones that are most significant to you. And you're singing them really passionately. I was quite impressed with Good Mother. Not only did you have good clarity in your diction and the delivery of the meaning of the words, so it wasn't just, clear words, but you sang them with sentence structure, but you also were emotionally really charged, which can be quite hard to do, and Michael will tell you, at the beginning of a program. Sometimes we have this sense of easing into it, but I felt that you were, as soon as that downbeat started with Michael's intro, you were right on. And I really applaud you for that, because you didn't wait to get going.
Okay,
I was really happy with that. And I think that was the only one, probably because it's the first one, that some of the top notes were a little bit, how could I describe this? Not as free as they became later in the program.
Okay.
I think just because it's early and maybe nerves. So that might be a note for you that you go, okay, at the beginning of my program, I just got to make sure that I allow more release of the air into the top notes to combat those nerves or whatever. But then you went to Guilty, which was a totally different range for you. And I think the two worked well side by side. So programming has a lot to do with our success, doesn't it?
Yes.
Sometimes just choosing the right order, we go, oh, I can move from one to the other quite comfortably. That was a really nice place for you to just, gear down in your range. And it was so warm and tender. And I can tell how much you enjoyed singing the duet. And that partner work just ups the ante, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, and takes Michael a little bit out of his comfort zone too. I've been singing a lot of Bee Gees the last few days.
Oh, Michael, isn't it good that we have our students to lift us up? We need it too, don't we?
For sure. I just appreciate so much. I would never have that one came completely from Elaine, and I would never have thought of it, and I've just fallen in love with it. I enjoy singing it all the time.
Me too.
I don't mind playing it on repeat. So
well, and that's one of the reasons I put it second, because it's such a fun song, and it would help me relax a little bit more to get it, into the meatier songs later on.
Yeah, well said, Elaine. I agree with you. Yeah, I think we have to do that. You start with something that you feel like you can coast on and do your work really well, and then you got to have something that propels you. And I think you did the right thing there. Yeah, and then you got settled between those two, and then you were able to attend to the details that came further in the program. One thing I thought was interesting with Guilty is that when you and Michael were singing in harmony, your tuning was particularly accurate. after it. I think you take great comfort when you're hearing that other voice with you.
Yes.
So I would encourage you, when you're doing the solo sections, just let the piano part feel like it's a voice, so you can really hug into it and lean into it a little bit more, just to anchor that tuning a bit better. I think maybe it's just the tone and the texture of hearing that voice with you just got you into that super confident place. So you can aim for that too, in just not so much at the end, but more in the beginning, the solo section. And I got to tell you, I was completely delighted that you did Perhaps Love. I was a little girl when it came out, and my parents bought the record, and I used to dance around their living room table. And I think I just kept on moving that needle back to the beginning of the song. And I used to sing this over and over and over again. And oh, what a treat to hear it today, Elaine. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
There's such good memories, and my dad would sing it with me. You know what? I'm going to send it to him today. I think today's a good day for him to remember it. Yeah, thank you for that. That was really inspiring. And I think my little girl understanding of the song, that I didn't know how to sing. I was just a wee one, but it was just pure love. I wasn't old enough to attach any stress to anything.
Yes.
It was just pure, clean love. And the way you sang it really delivered it in a tenderness and a caring way. And I loved your take on it. It wasn't someone who might be bitter from past relationships, although that's spoken about, but it was much more the highlight of that's why the good ones feel so good. And I think you delivered it really, really, truly to what the text is meant to deliver. I'm especially excited on your higher notes. Everything. It was just lovely, so cleanly approached. There was no scooping there. There was no sliding off the notes either. It was just clean. And that higher head voice just worked beautifully. And I wonder if you can try to echo that on If I Should Live Forever.
Okay.
If you could just get on as. The 4 was fine, really. It's just that middle syllable. If you just want to anchor it just the same way that you did on everything, I think that'll really keep them well matched.
Okay.
Well done, Elaine. Beautiful, beautiful job with that one. Then again, another change of California dreaming. So here we got to hear in the intro, especially that smoky rocker texture in your voice, and that was really neat. Really neat to hear, and I think you're doing a good job of switching your style to support the genre.
Great. Thank you.
So that was really nice to hear. And then on the longer notes here, like dreaming or day or pray, you might want to make sure on that longer note that you don't let the note move at the end.
Okay. Right.
I think you established it well and probably held it for a good solid 3 beats in tune, and then on that last beat, it would just pull down.
Right.
You've probably worked on that before. That might even be a breath thing. You might just say, I got to get off that note before it moves.
Okay, that's good.
And that's
yes.
okay, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we do that. We just say, okay, I'm not going to hold it longer than I need to because I might manipulate it.
Right. Right.
Just a thought.
Yes.
Your confidence was really apparent here. So putting your audience and your confidence at ease is just, because I can only imagine for Michael how easy this was to play for you, because you were so definitive in where you were breathing, where you were coming in, and where you were releasing notes. You didn't have to guess at all. Same with us. Even for an uneducated audience, they wouldn't know why you were so good at leading, but they would just say, oh, she was really good.
Okay. That's nice.
Right? Yeah. And then Book of Love. What a different song choice. I'm so glad you brought this to the program today. It really is a sweet song, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Oh, I found myself wishing for one more verse.
Oh.
I did. I was like, oh, I want to hear more. It was so sweet. And that's where I really saw this is incredibly relaxed. So it's now not a distraction for you. You're able to really get to your voice and into the meaning of the words a lot better. Whenever you have that elongated but and when I said it but like back,
right.
but I think you'll enjoy soaring through that note better with an vowel. So the way you just demonstrated was right on. Right. Now it might feel a more challenging to sustain that for a number of beats, but you certainly have the tools and you certainly have the skills. So I would just say, challenge yourself. I think you're going to like the sound. I think you're probably going to respond with, oh my goodness, that was so rich.
Okay, yes, I'll definitely try that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know I'm really just yipping away here, and I've got it written down, so you get a copy of everything.
Great.
And then to move on to Angel's Calling. Oh, what a treat. So I always like to hear things by the tenors. So one of them, the one that wears the hat, Victor McAuliffe, he's a dear friend of mine.
Oh.
So we've done a number of concerts together, and we haven't for a long time, but I always find that when I hear their music, I really miss him. So that was really nice to hear you do that. We went to school together, and I can tell you, Elaine, we all, whatever your instrument was, everybody was almost, fighting for a practice room. That's just how it goes.
Wow.
There's almost enough for everybody, but not quite. But I can remember, and I'll never forget, when Vic was in a room practicing, all the women were lined up outside the room listening. And then, the guys would walk by, rolling their eyes. There goes Perfect Victor again. So it was wonderful to hear you do this. And I think when we know something as a trio and we hear it as a solo, it works so amazingly well. Not to mention your signing. Your signing was stunning. And I don't know enough about sign language and vocabulary to really understand the hard work that you did, but I got the feeling that you had to figure out, okay, maybe there's several signs I could use for this word. Which one works best in the context of the sentence? Like, I really feel like you took a lot of time to really plan out your phrasing and make those decisions and choices. It looked so lovely, and the pacing worked so well with your words. Like, I think for anybody translating anything, the mind is just operating on such a highly, what's the word I'm looking for? Just such a high level of trying to get all these different muscle groups working together and your thoughts together, and coordination, highly coordinated gestures, plus your singing. So here's something for you and Michael to think about. A lot of times I don't know if my frame is showing this. A lot of times I was seeing your elbows and arms up like this, and I'm not too sure what kind of wording you were going into there. But it elevated your lungs and it freed everything up, and your voice just soared.
Oh.
So
Very cool.
I think you sang this particularly well because there was nothing pulling you in. So as much as we want your shoulders down, we don't want your torso collapsed on top of itself. So you can really take good inspiration from this. Try some of your exercises like Maria, like Julie Andrews from The Sound of Music. Yes.
Okay.
And I'm totally okay with that because it will really free things up here so that, the upper part of your torso holds the upper part of your torso. It doesn't sit on anything else. So I think that's going to be a really good thing for you. And because you're used to moving and keeping everything buoyant, I think you can maybe try some of your warm-ups like that and just really study on how everything feels from one range to the next. I was so happy you signed because it's important for our community who needs that. And I was so happy with the results that it had inadvertently to you on your actual technique.
Lovely. One of the reasons why I do like to sign is because I'm a mover, and this gives me a purposeful movement.
Yes, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, well said, Elaine. And do you do signage with your work?
I used to, but I retired, and now I have another job, and there's no signing involved.
Okay.
Elaine has worked with some amazing and very diverse groups of people and just incredible folks. And so I can imagine your skill set, the various, with all the folks that you've worked with. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so comfortable. You're so comfortable with it. I thought, I don't think this is something that she just knows a few words at. I feel like this is a language for you. Another lovely man that I went to school with, his mother is deaf, and he's the most beautiful tenor, Elaine, and he has gone on to have such a beautifully rewarding operatic career. He sings all over the world.
Nice.
And his mother has never heard his voice. So he just signs, and often in conversation, little signs would come out because he's just so used to it. And so I just think it's it's an important skill, and I wish more people knew it. I wish I knew it. And how lovely to combine it with song. Doesn't it work so well?
It really does. It really does.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you, Elaine. You've worked really, really, really hard to get here today, and I'm seeing so many good steps forward. And I wonder if there's anything that you would like to ask, or anything that Michael would like to ask.
Natalie, I just appreciate so much your advice and comments. Very, very meaningful. I think everything you hit the nail on the head, and it's wonderful to hear somebody who doesn't get to see Elaine on a weekly basis and still be able to articulate and speak about the good things that are happening, and then have a few little pieces of advice that will be able to move her forward. Elaine has done a couple of traditional exams as well. And we're working on theory as well. She's doing it. She's doing it.
Not well.
But the recital assessment is a great in between because I know that I get the feeling that that's a goal. You'd really like to get that next grade as well. So we're going to get to that point as well. So yeah, I'm very, very appreciative so much, and it is a joy to work with Elaine. I work with her daughter as well, and yeah, super family.
Thank you.
Oh, Elaine, good for you. And so you're also doing the graded examinations. So you can see what the gains are, and they're different, aren't they?
Yes.
You know, from recital assessment to graded exams. And I'm glad that you're doing both. And I truly believe that one makes you better at the other.
Right.
So, plus I feel, obviously, with the recital assessment, it takes the stress off of all the technical issues, although you have to have them to be able to sing this repertoire. But it's just a nice focus on, this is food for my soul.
Right. Yes.
Oh, congratulations, Elaine.
Well, thank you so much for all of your suggestions and feedback. I'll definitely be incorporating it into my learning.
Marvelous. No doubt. You love to learn, and you love to get to that next level, so I'll be hoping to hear you again.
Yes,
sometime.
that would be lovely.
And Natalie, thank you so very much again. I think we've got a couple more exams that I'll be hearing in the weeks ahead, and many thanks for all of your assistance and help, and taking the time out of your Monday morning to hear this morning as well.
Oh, my pleasure. I send my best to both of you.
And to
See
you.
you soon.
Have a great
care.
day. Take care. Yeah, bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.